Hey guys, welcome back to Fireside Chat. Pull up a chair, get comfortable. Tonight, we're talking about a choice. A question that, when it landed on my doorstep, felt less like a question and more like a grenade. So I want to ask you, right off the bat, before we even dive in, if your back was up against the wall, if you were in a situation where you had to choose between a job and a dream, which would you pick? And what if your partner told you that you should do both? That's what happened to our guest tonight. Let's just call her Sarah, a 24-year-old stay-at-home mom for the past 5 years, raising 2 little firecrackers while her husband, a 27-year-old in the military, was out there doing his thing. Her whole life for 5 years revolved around these kids. The soccer practices, the bedtime stories, the scraped knees, the endless cycle of laundry and meals. It was a grind, but it was of her grind. It was a life she had built, a rhythm she had found, and she was ready for the next phase. Now that her kids were in school, one in kindergarten, one in pre-K, she saw a light at the end of the tunnel. Her dream was simple, and in a way, it was a dream many of us have. She wanted to go back to school, get a degree, build a career for herself. Not just for her, but for her family. A way to contribute, to have something of her own. A way to say, hey, I'm still here, and I have more to offer than just being a mom. But as we all know, life has a funny way of throwing a wrench in the best laid plans. The pre-K tuition was a killer. The military's fee assistance, which they'd been banking on, fell through. And suddenly, they were in a bind. We're not talking, can't afford a new TV broke. We're talking, can't make the bills broke. The kind of broke that keeps you up at night, staring at the ceiling, doing mental math that never adds up. Sarah knew what had to be done. She saw the writing on the wall. The school dream, at least for now, had to be put on the back burner. It wasn't an ideal situation, but it was reality. A job was the priority. A job was the answer. And she was completely fine with that. She was ready to roll up her sleeves and do what she had to do for her family. That's just the kind of person she is. A real trooper. But here's where the story takes a turn, where the plot thickens. This is where the tension starts to build. Because while she was fine with getting a job, she wasn't fine with what her husband told her. The words he said that felt like a slap in the face. He told her she needed to do everything, while he just went to work and came home. Just like that. No discussion, no negotiation. It was a statement of fact, his truth. And this is where I want you to pause for a second and just absorb that. Imagine being in her shoes. You've been the primary caregiver, the household manager, the doer of all things for 5 years. Now, in a time of crisis, when you're stepping up to the plate and taking on a whole new responsibility, your partner, the person who should be your biggest ally, tells you that you're on your own. It's a gut punch, but Sarah is a woman of action. She didn't sit around feeling sorry for herself. She went out and found a job. And let me tell you, it wasn't a cushy 9 to 5. It was a graveyard shift, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The only shift she could get that worked with the kids' schedules. Think about that for a minute. The world is asleep, but she's just starting her day. Or rather, her night. She'd clock out at 6 a.m., a ghost in the morning light, and rush home. Her husband would be getting ready to leave for work. They'd do a quick handoff, a passing of the torch, and then she'd get the kids ready for school. The drop-off 7:40 a.m. for her kindergartner, 8 a.m. for her preschooler. Then she'd get home around 8:30 a.m. And this is where the exhaustion really sets in. She'd crash, sleep until 2 p.m. Then it's a mad dash to get up and get ready for the afternoon pickups. 20:30 p.m. for her kindergartner, 3 p.m. for her preschooler. They'd get home around 3:30 p.m., just in time for the chaos of the afternoon to begin. Her husband wouldn't get home until 5:30 p.m. She'd be in the middle of making dinner, a moment of fleeting peace before the next wave of tasks. The kids would be fed, bathed, and tucked into bed by 7:30 p.m. And that's it. That's her window. 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours to maybe, just maybe, catch a nap before she has to head back out for her graveyard shift. It's a recipe for burnout. A ticking time bomb. The kind of schedule that makes you feel like you're on a hamster wheel that's spinning faster and faster. There's no downtime, no self-care, no moment to just breathe. And then, her husband drops another bombshell. He insists she still go to school. He wants her to pursue her dream, which, on the surface, sounds supportive. But listen to his suggestions. First, he says, just do night school. While she's working her night shift. Like that's even a possibility. It's like he didn't even think it through. It's a completely tone-deaf suggestion. Then, when she rightly points out that's not possible, he says, just do it during the day. And you can almost hear her voice rising in frustration as she explains, but I need sleep. It's a question, but it's really a statement. It's a plea. It's her saying, I'm a human being, not a machine. But he's not hearing it. He doubles down, and this is the line that just gets me. This is the one that really shows you where his head is at. He tells her, there are lots of people that work full-time and go to school full-time. You can make it work. It's a classic gaslighting move. It's him saying, the problem isn't the situation, it's you. You're not trying hard enough. You're not strong enough. And so she's at a crossroads. She's asking herself, am I being unreasonable? She's questioning her own sanity. She's wondering if she's just being lazy, if she should just suck it up and do both. But deep down, she knows the answer. She knows it's one or the other. School or work. She knows that what he's asking is not just difficult, it's impossible. It's a one-way ticket to a complete mental and physical breakdown. She felt so lost, so alone, that she even went to her mother-in-law for advice. And guess what? Her mother-in-law agreed with her husband. This is the moment where the self-doubt really sets in. When the people you're supposed to be able to trust, the people who are supposed to be in your corner, are telling you that your reality is wrong, that you're being unreasonable. It's soul-crushing. But here's the beautiful part of this story. This is the part that gives me hope. Sarah found the strength to trust herself, to listen to her own gut, to stand her ground. She realized that what she was feeling, that sense of overwhelming impossibility, was real. It wasn't a flaw in her character. It was a flaw in the plan, a flaw in the demands being placed on her. She went back to her husband and told him, it's one or the other. I can't do both. And to his credit, they came to an agreement. He saw the light. He saw the impossibility of the situation. And now she's focusing on her job, providing for her family. And hopefully, down the road, she'll be able to go back to school. But this isn't just a story about one woman's struggle. This is a story about the expectations we place on ourselves and our partners. It's a story about the invisible labor that so many women perform every single day. The mental load of managing the household, the kids, the schedules. And it's a story about the importance of communication, of seeing the other person, of truly hearing them, even when their reality is different from yours. So, I want to turn it over to you. What do you think? Was Sarah being unreasonable? Have you ever been in a similar situation where you felt like you had to choose between two impossible options? What would you have done? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.